about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show, the satanic state-run media. We are beginning to see exactly what communism looks like, which is state-run media. Now we can all look at this and say, obviously, Fox News, MSNBC, NBC are all controlled state-run media, and that is true. But now we're getting to the point where we're going to see all the dominoes fall, which means everything's going to cancel each other out. That's part of what cancel culture is in play for. Left's canceling the right, right's canceling the left, businesses canceling one another, people canceling one another, news stations canceling one another, because again, in communism, everything is state-run and state-owned. Okay? There is no private property anymore. We know that they want communism. We know that they're hiding under the veil of socialism and Marxism. It's communism. And in communism, there's no ways around this. They're rewording things to make it look like a different type of communism than we've seen the last, 100 years ago, World War II time period. What we're seeing is a new type of communism where they're presenting themselves in the name of love and fairness and kindness and justice, and it's all a deception. They're leading the weak-minded people into this who think that they're on their side and they care about them, who are looking at the wrong people as the bad people and the villains and the boogeyman when they should be looking at their own government who's responsible for this. So I'm going to cover this now with the satanic temple. Of course, Fox News beginning their demolition. This started with Tucker Carlson. It's continuing on. Of course, they're doing this with Trump as well, as Fox News isn't supporting Trump as much. And now with donations coming out. Who is Fox News donating to and matching donations? Oh, the satanic temple, right? This is done by design. These leaks are done by design. They want you to know this for a reason. I'm going to get into it in a second. Did a video yesterday that got a strike about the sounds of freedom and how the sounds of freedom was being used as a way to herd people. This is all done by design. That video got a strike, but I did appeal the strike. I finally won an appeal. It's been a long time since I won an appeal. I'm assuming they saw it and assumed that I'm anti-Trump, so I won the appeal. And I am anti-Trump, also anti-Biden. I'm anti-both sides. They're all working together. This is how they're beginning the demise. Not beginning. We're in the middle phases now. The demise and destruction of capitalist America. So that video got a strike, but it's now back up for those of you that missed it. So I'd recommend you go check that video out. I'm doing this video so I can show you what's going on, but I want you to know I have 3 channels. I'm asking you as a favor to me to go sub to those channels. Don't wait to do it. Please do it now. 3 channels. That's right. I have the end of the beginning, eye for an eye, and now I've made a new channel called the Uprising Revival. I'm building all these channels out because when I get strikes like I did yesterday, if I didn't win that appeal, I wouldn't be able to upload for a week. And this is something that constantly happens on all my channels. Eventually they get terminated. It used to be I hit 100,000 subs, I get terminated every single time like clockwork. Now it seems around 20,000 it's starting to go, at least the last 5 channels or so. So please do me this favor. I'm asking you if you appreciate the content, if you appreciate the work I've done in the past, and you still want to listen to me, please go sub to all 3, not just one of them, all 3 of the channels below. Again, it's the end of the beginning, eye for an eye, and for those of you who already sub to those, don't miss out on the newest channel, the Uprising Revival. Let's build those out and have them ready to go. Also, on the website, I have a new video up about National Hot Dog Day. We had Mitt Romney put out this creepy video about Hot Dog Day. Of course, the zombies out there see these videos and these things, and they're like, these people are weird. That's a creepy, no, not even creepy. There's like, what a stupid video or like a bizarre video. Why, like what a nerd kind of a thing. When in reality, they do these things on purpose. They are very much aware of what they're doing. When Mitt Romney's wearing a hat that has a hot dog on, and he's talking about how much he loves hot dogs in and out of the bun. Well, he's talking about something else. And I covered that over on the website. Of course, there's a lot of connection with Mitt Romney and his family. Kathy O'Brien has exposed them before. She's tweeted about it many times about Mitt Romney and the connection, of course, to a certain island and her father. Of course, this is all just something that continually happens. These families that are in control and have power, they all do the same thing, and it involves hot dogs. So you should know about this stuff. And this is the type of stuff you get on the website for $2.99 a month. It's exclusive, uncensored content. And again, $2.99 is actually cheaper than going to get a hot dog from a hot dog stand. Not that I expect anyone out there to eat hot dogs, but $2.99 a month, ad-free, troll-free. So go check it out if you haven't. At the very least, go sign up for free videos. So let's look at this satanic run media thing. It's pretty funny how this stuff just comes out. People think it comes out not on purpose, right? Fox News is beginning this demolition of itself. We had the lawsuit with Fox News. We had Fox News firing their most popular person, Tucker Carlson. And again, it seems like they're almost building this extreme right media where Fox doesn't really fit that narrative, where they're going to have people that they want you to believe in them, like Tucker Carlson. And I'm not saying that his content and some of the stuff he says isn't good, but again, this is a guy who was liberal, who turned conservative. These people flip and flop based on what they're told to do and how they're supposed to herd an audience. And that's what this is all about. It's about herding the audience, right? It's a perfect example with Sounds of Freedom. They blast it all over liberal media criticizing it. They know that conservatives watch and hear that, and it makes them want to go see the movie. Well, Fox News has done the same thing over and over again with the Satanic Temple. They always have the Satanic Temple on. They always have Lucine Grays on the Satanic Temple over and over again. And what ends up happening? It promotes the Satanic Temple because liberals see that Fox News has them on. And then what happens? The Satanists, Lucine Grays, or whatever Satanist is on, always ends up looking better than the Fox News anchors, including Tucker Carlson. They don't ask them simple questions. They kind of just go, Satanic Temple. They don't talk about the CIA connection. They don't talk about the connection to the Franklin cover-up in Boys Town. There's a direct connection there. They don't talk about how they were expedited to get tax benefits from the Obama administration. These are things that Fox News doesn't talk about. They have them on. They ask really dumb questions. The guy ends up sounding smarter than Fox News, and more people, just like with Sounds of Freedom, the opposite people view this content just as much as the followers of it. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, when people hear about Sounds of Freedom, they're like, what's Sounds of Freedom? They're like, oh, the liberal media that I hate is bashing Sounds of Freedom. Maybe I should go see Sounds of Freedom. Oh, they're suppressing Sounds of Freedom. Oh, they're turning the air conditioner off in the theaters. Oh, that means they don't want that out there. They want that out there. They want you going to see it. Why? Well, at the end of the day, Sounds of Freedom is leading you to some truth, but it's not leading you to the truth. Because Sounds of Freedom isn't talking about how the people in our own government, all of them, are involved in it. How Hollywood is involved in it. How CEOs of corporations are involved in it. They want you to think it's the boogeyman in Colombia or some third world country. And of course, they never connect it to Satanism. Because what's happened throughout history, if you look at Satanism and witches, every single time they've been taken care of. I can't say the proper words here because of course I got a strike, but they've been taken care of. It's been handled by the people because they realized what they were doing to the children. And they wouldn't allow Satanism to be in their society. Well, today's world, nobody's going to point a finger at Satanists. And then when Satanists do come out, like the Satanic Temple, they literally are coming out saying, we don't believe in the devil, even though everything they do has to do with satanic rituals, everything the devil would be in support of, including abortion, Planned Parenthood. This is all done by design, of course. And people out there just get into this belief that Satanism isn't real, and it's so obvious that it is. So we have Fox News, which ends up promoting the Satanists by having them on. Of course, they don't have, they have these people on by design, and then the design is that they look like incompetent fools, and the Satanists end up looking better, and the liberals again go and check out the Satanic Temple. So the Satanic Temple loves this. They love the attention, and not the attention for me, because usually somebody's always commenting like, well, you're giving them attention. Well, I'm not very popular these days, and I barely have any views, so I'm not giving them any attention compared to the extreme, what do they call them, the right-wing media, right? Like the Tim Pools and all those guys who are all, pushing the left-right divide, which is what they want. That's why those people never get suppressed, and that's not by design. They don't want you to realize that in order to build a communist government, everything has to be destroyed and state-run. So again, we can look at the media and say, well, they're already state-run. They're going to tell you that it's state-run, like in China. That's what they're going to do. They're going to say, this is it. And they're going to rebrand it so that you actually believe what you hear on this one news network, right? Because, again, they're the ones who are building the distrust in the audience. The liberal media, by design, they know the conservatives know how fake that media is. And then the other way, the liberals look at Fox News as the fakest thing possible. This is a double dual design destruction. It's demolition. So you have Fox News whistleblowers revealing the company's support of Satanists, abortionists, and left-wing charities. Again, this continues to take credibility away from Fox in the eyes of conservatives. Then they're going to place these people, like Tucker Carlson, out there as these independent journalists, right? And their job is going to be to herd these people the way they want to herd them. Now, right now, what they're trying to do more than anything that I see is they're trying to herd the Christian audience. That's why Sounds of Freedom was done by design. with Jim Caviezel and his connection to Mel Gibson, and there's lots of stories. Of course, it all goes back to the Passion of the Christ, right? They know that they could just subconsciously lure Christians into trusting and believing these people because he played Jesus in a movie, and you listen to his interviews. I mean, someone getting struck by lightning on the cross, and all sorts of blasphemy, like the video I did yesterday, where he even says he compares Donald Trump to Moses. He compares him, he says, "I'm still Jesus," and Christians are just like, "Oh, he's just joking around." I mean, that's blasphemy to the extreme, right? But people don't look at it that way. They don't realize they're being hurted. People hear me talking about it, and they're like, "You're just a hater." They can't get past this wall of simple thinking. That's what it is. It's a wall of simple-minded thinking, not realizing you're being worked. They think that they're awake, but they don't realize that they're still being hurted by the mainstream. That's the problem. Fox News is a billion-dollar corporation. It's hurting you, and then they go, "Well, I'm not a part of Fox News. Tucker Carlson's not there anymore, and I follow him." Well, you know they get by design because they know that they can lure you that way, or Jim Caviezel, and they don't think ahead to say, well, the liberal media is putting it out there on purpose, because if they just didn't mention it, nobody would even know this movie existed. There's no commercials for it, right? Nobody would know it existed if it didn't get all this buzz in the media, whether it's negative or positive. They just go, they don't want it out there because they're pedos, because they're thinking with their basic emotion instead of thinking, how can this government organization, the intelligence agencies, control my mind and lead me where they want to lead me? Because that's what this is all about. This goes back to Operation Paperclip, right? This goes back to MK Ultra mind control experiments that were done to learn and be able to manipulate the human mind. I always compare it to looking at the zoo. We go to the zoo and a guy comes out and he's able to, walk around the lion without the lion mauling him. Well, how is this? Well, he's built trust with the lion. The lion knows what he's going to do, and he knows what the lion's going to do, and he knows how to hurt the lion, right? That's just a day at the zoo with any of the animals, okay? They learn how to, oh, this is what the lion's gonna do if I do this. This is what the lion's gonna do if I do that. Well, that's how they view humans. The problem is that humans have become such narcissistic beings that they don't think that they can be hurted. Even I can be hurted. We were all hurted at one point. We all went through the school system. We all grew up thinking that the reality was real that we were in, until you wake up and you really realize the reality is not real. And then you start realizing that this is how all this stuff works and how mind control works and how MK Ultra works. Then you start saying, okay, what do you think? There's just some of the media is not controlled now? Now that they're going fully forward, we just saw the outbreak. Now we're seeing stuff with the climate. These are all parts of Agenda 2030 and the New World Order agenda. They're going forward with it because they have full control of all the media, all the politicians, and now they have to psychologically herd the masses where they want to herd them. So stories like this come out on purpose, and stories like Sounds of Freedom come out on purpose. It's to lead you in a direction. They don't let these things out by design. Why are these things? Oh, all of a sudden, not 3 years ago, not 5 years ago, all of a sudden, Fox News, as we're seeing Fox News do these things with Tucker Carlson and lose trust in their audience, self-demolishing themselves, come out and say, oh, wait a minute, did you know Fox News matches charitable contributions to the Satanic Temple? Well, what do you think that's going to do to every Christian who watches Fox News? It's going to make them go, I'm not watching Fox News or supporting Fox News. I'm with Tucker, or I'm with whatever this new right-wing media outlet is, whether it's the Daily Wire that starts getting promoted as being, and nobody's suspicious how all these other outlets are allowed to talk about the trans and not get hate speech strikes, right? I mean, yesterday, literally, the video I did on Trump, which I did win the appeal, got a strike for racism. I mean, what? Because they deem anything that's truth racism. You can't argue around it. But these other people can constantly talk about this stuff because they keep you herded the way they want to. So this story goes, Fox News, the reported conservative cable news network, matches employee donations to numerous left-wing charities and activist groups according to Blaze Media. And again, you can look at that however you want to with the people that work at Blaze Media. While putting on airs of supporting conservative causes, Fox will apparently match employee charitable contributions to the Satanic Temple, the Trevor Project, Planned Parenthood, and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Insider sources told Blaze Media. The Trevor Project runs an anonymous online forum, and of course, anyone who's in Blaze Media that's on YouTube or on social media doesn't deal with, getting strikes and stuff. They might pretend like they're like, oh, we're unmonetized, but what ends up happening with their audience is they get built out through, Patreon and all that stuff because they're still prompted up on YouTube. They're not dealing with, being suppressed. They're not dealing with strikes and then not being able to upload. You ever seen any of these big shows? Like Len Becker and them having like 2-week bans, not being able to upload when they do daily Monday through Friday type of content. I mean, no, of course you don't. Now I don't have a schedule. I upload as much as I possibly can every day, and I rely on either YouTube monetization or people becoming patrons. And if they're not, I'm still going to put in as much work as I can, and then try to make money in outside sources or the website, etc. Because I want to get as much content as I can out there. I'm just kind of like a regular guy doing this. But these other things that have their shows that have their Monday through Friday, control. They don't deal with 2-week bans. Oh, my whole Glenn Beck's whole channel of 1 million people is gone overnight, right? I lost 550, 300, 20 to 30 channels, 100, and I'm not bringing myself into this to prop myself up. I'm telling you that is the thing that people need to understand. It's not about personalities. It's not about ratings. It's about keeping you trapped and herded, whether these people realize it or not. Because if people break free from the left and right, and conservatives and liberals stop pointing the finger at each other based on how they dress or their sexual preferences, and say, look, okay, they're the ones who are baiting. All of a sudden, all the trans people and all the LGBT people want to get into the schools and they want to be around your kids. 10 years ago, that was unheard of. They just want to be married. Well, who do you think is the one that's igniting that? The liberal media is, by saying that these people are oppressed and they hate you and you should go. And they're just constantly showing stories trying to get people to go and do these things through mind control. And people just took a step back. They're like, wait a minute, we're not oppressed. We're not oppressed. Wait a minute, we like capitalism. We like the way America is. If they actually realize that what they're trying to do isn't make fairness for people, they're trying to enslave people. Everyone is going to eventually realize that the way we have it now is good and great, no matter what their skin color is. And once this is all said and done, and people demolish our structure here in America by design, and they can point a finger at each other and say, well, the liberals destroyed it, well, the conservatives destroyed it. Then people go, oh my gosh, wait a minute, we really did have it good. It wasn't so bad. But they're doing it right now to one another, canceling each other. This is the woke culture, just communism with new names and new figureheads and new ideologies as far as creating these protests and riots based on color, skin color, or sexual. I mean, it's all done by design. And the mainstream media covers it as if it's a conservative liberal thing, and so do the right-wing extremists, they call them, or whatever you want to say these people are, the Blaze, et cetera, et cetera. They cover it and they keep you inside of that box instead of saying, we need to get together, and the small minimum amount of people in Congress, these people are doing this to children, these people are doing this to us, and these people are working for us. They need to be thrown out of power, they need to be thrown out of their homes, and we need to restart this. Not a great reset, but we need to put actual people in. We need to actually have voting systems that aren't rigged on both sides. We need to actually have people who aren't millionaires being able to run for president. That was the way this whole structure was supposed to be. Oh, this is a good person with good character traits, really looking to lead, a good leader, instead of, oh, well, how many trillions do you have? What mainstream media is promoting? Because they're all hand-selected. It's all fake. Okay, so anyway, back to the story. This leak comes and they start talking about all these things that Fox have their hand in, right? So everybody out there's mad and now they're boycotting Fox. Every business you boycott, you might think that you're doing something to help a movement. You're helping them demolish this capitalist country that we live in. And I get it. Nobody wants to drink Bud Light. Nobody wants to do these things based on what we see at Target, etc. Of course not. I don't want to support it. But I'm telling you what they're doing is by design. Everything's being canceled out and they're going to blame us for it. Blame the people, not the government. We didn't do it. You guys did it. Thus, their hands are clean of what they're doing. So this is going to end up leading to state-run satanic media. And again, they'll try to come across as, oh, everything here is factual, but they need to bring all this stuff down first. They need these independent people to lead them towards Trump, which is what you're seeing with Jim Caviezel, with Sounds of Freedom, with Trump having a live stream. Why didn't Trump do it 5 years ago? The movie's been made for 5 years. Couldn't Trump have been like, well, the production companies won't make the movie. I'm going to play it at Mar-a-Lago or whatever. Oh, no, of course, it's because it's by design. If people can start realizing that psychologically you're being herded by these people, and there's a reason that they keep the right-wing media out there, as well as the liberal media, if people can realize that, then people can stop this from happening, but they don't realize it. So the Satanic Temple, again, even things like this promotes the Satanists, right? Having them on Fox News promotes the Satanists. They never make them look like fools. They never talk about their connection specifically to Boys Town, specifically to the CIA, specifically to Ivy League secret societies. They never talk about it. Why? Because they don't want you to know that, go that far down and actually realize who they are. They want you to think it's just, oh, they are an independent group of people who don't worship the devil. Huh? Oh, you don't worship the devil. That's like a Christian saying they don't worship God or Jesus. It makes zero sense. Because then you say, well, then you're not really a Christian, are you? And you go, no, I guess they're not. It's insanity. So, again, to recap all of this stuff, Done by design. Design destruction. I'm going to cover more stuff on this as best I can, as well as Fed Now and all the things that are going on that you need to know. Specifically, the most important thing right now is the climate agenda. There's too many conservatives that actually think that this is actually about the climate, and now we're seeing an uptick in all these stories about how hot it is in Nevada, how hot it is in Texas. I'm not saying some places it's not hotter than normal, but it's not 200 degrees. Okay, nobody's melting in the sun. But they're getting people to post videos by talking about how hot it is, and people are like going outside, putting an ice cream bar or a chocolate bar outside, watching how fast it melts, and like, this is unheard of. Because they're convincing people of all this. The climate agenda is about a carbon footprint, full-on tracking, full-on surveillance, full-on imprisonment. You will not be able to leave your home when you want to leave your home. They'll let you leave here and there, like a prisoner who leaves to go to the courtyard for an hour every day. You'll have the same type of life then. This is by design, and they're making it all about the illusion of the climate change. And those videos will be available on the End of the Beginning channel, Eye for an Eye, and my newest one, The Uprising Revival. I have to build out the other two, but right now, the End of the Beginning is the one where I'll be uploading starting on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, when my strike goes away. I forget what day it was or what time it was. You have to wait till the exact hour that the strike gets the strike. It's unbelievable. But I'm going to continue fighting the best that I can to get the truth out there. I mean, a lot of these channels get demonetized, they get deleted. You know, I try not to ask people to support on Patreon too much because I know it's annoying. I try to ask, look, join the website for $3. That helps out the content, but you get exclusive content and you can educate yourself over there, not worry about restrictions. But at the very least, I ask everybody out there to please do me a solid and sub to the other channels now. Take stress away from me constantly having to build these channels out. I'm just going to do it in one shot here, have some available, be able to upload, and I'm going to continue fighting the fight. So come fight with me. I thank you all for being here. I hope you're all doing well. I miss a lot of you. I hope to see you on the other channels. God bless all of you and your families.
Tired of wearing the same outfit every day? The same boring, unpredictable outfit? Then you need Stitch Fix. Stitch Fix makes it super easy to update and refresh your look. You start by going onto the website and doing their style quiz. You're going to get paired with an expert stylist that learns all about your preferences, what your personal style is like, and even what your budget looks like. The good thing is, they're really doing the work for you. They're sending you the outfits, and then you get to try them on at home. You just send the stuff back that you don't want, at no cost to you. It's super easy. Now, it's not a subscription, so you can do it as often or as little as you want. So head over to the website and take your style quiz to get started.
I think the measure of a great wrestler isn't just their wrestling ability. It's their ability to influence others, right? When you can point to somebody and say, so-and-so influenced a generation of talent to become pro wrestlers, to follow in their footsteps, you've done something right. Or if you can point to a generation of wrestlers that copied you in some way, they're emulating you in some way, right? You can say that you've done something right. Superstar Billy Graham was that guy. And he was finally the subject of the Dark Side of the Ring episode. I'm surprised it took this long. Billy Graham will never be mistaken as the best worker in wrestling, right? The best worker the business ever saw, because he wasn't. But if you ever wondered where Vince McMahon came up with the term WWE superstar, it was Superstar Billy Graham. Because in his mind, that was what a wrestler ought to look like. He had the physique, he had the charisma, he had the flashy outfits, he had the gift of gab on the microphone. He was exactly the kind of wrestler that Vince McMahon wanted to build his expansion off of when he went national. The only problem is, by that point, Billy was washed out. Vince would say, superstar, you came along 10 years too late. And he was right. If he was 10 years younger and came along in the mid-'80s, it would have been Billy Graham as world champion when Vince went national, not Hulk Hogan. Without Billy Graham, there is no Hulk Hogan. Without Billy Graham, there is no Jesse the Body Ventura. And you can go down the list. So many wrestlers blatantly copied him and borrowed from him, took from him. I don't think any two names, though, more so than Hulk and Jesse. Hogan went on to become one of the biggest stars in the history of the business. With the feather boas and the cupping of the ear and the posing, it was all taken from Graham. Like even stuff that he may have taken from Austin Idol. Where do you think Austin Idol saw that? It all traces back to Superstar Billy Graham. So imagine how that must have made Billy Graham feel. Like he was way ahead of his time. His peak came 10 years too soon, and then his body began to break down on him. And I'm not going to lie, when he died in 2023, I was surprised because it felt like Billy Graham was constantly dying for 20 years before that. That's what it felt like. Always in and out of the hospital with health issues and infections and all kinds of problems, but he would always find a way to kick out until he didn't. It was good that they had his son and daughter